All right, yeah, Veganika, right? It's
Yep.
Veganika is your YouTube channel. She's got a channel called Veganika. She made a video
Yes.
the other day. We watched like 10 seconds of it and I was a little freaked out. I was like, why did she do an ad of this? Like, what is going on here? She did like an ad for this video and targeted the video, and then Jay saw the video and we watched part of it. Um, but yeah,
So you didn't watch it till the end?
we watched like maybe 2 minutes of it. We didn't watch the whole thing. No.
Uh, Sorry, I don't know. I hear you double. Like I hear you from YouTube, and additionally, like separately, I hear you. I think from Zoom. So
You
I'm
have
completely lost.
go to your YouTube tab and close the YouTube
Maybe I
tab.
should switch off the sound of YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try. So now I will hear you. Can you
Yeah.
say something?
Yeah. You're good. So yeah, Veganica. Somebody says,
There is a huge, huge delay because I had the hands up when I didn't have them up. So I see.
all good. So Veganica, how long have you been vegan for?
Oh, me, I've been just 1.5 year approximately.
Okay.
Yeah, but you claim that there are no people in the world who wouldn't have eaten meat for a long period of time. Yes.
Oh, what? Wait. Can you?
Uh,
I know. Your
that
English is very
like
good. Your
it's not
English is.
possible to.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was gonna say your English is really good, but I think the wording of that. Could you try to word that? Because I'm not sure what you're asking. You're saying I made a claim?
Um, you claim that there are no and a big group of people who wouldn't have eaten meat for a long time, long
Okay, so
period
no,
of
no, no.
time.
I've said
Yes.
there are no long-term vegan cultures. No long-term vegan cultures.
I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the history of my nation because, like, the whole generation after war, they didn't eat meat for like the whole 40 million people. Yes, like even today, I talked to my mom, like how she how she grew up. So she says that, like, they had seen meat once a year, approximately. So, and the whole nation like grew up in this way. And once I saw in the video that you said that you met a woman, 75 years old, in Ecuador. Yeah, you live in Ecuador, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, who is 75 and she's still cool and she can walk.
She's like almost not. I think she might be almost 90 now. When I met her, she was mid 70s. But she's not vegan.
Okay.
She's not vegan. She was that
Yeah,
was a
but
story. I
okay.
just let me tell like a brief synopsis of that story to the audience. So, I think what she's talking about is I talked about before when we first moved to Ecuador. We're very interested in the idea of producing your own food, living off of your own land, living off of your own food, producing food for your families, and eating nothing but local food that you produce in your local area, right? So we were looking for people who were doing permaculture, looking for people who were doing organic farming and living off of their own land, and we didn't meet anybody, right? And one of the first people, one of the coolest people we met here, right away, she had raw goat colostrum that she gave us. I think it was like the day after we met her. Her goat had just given birth, and she sold us a liter of goat colostrum, and yeah, it was kind of an eye opener seeing and talking to her. And I remember asking her like, "Do you know anybody who's been self sufficient?" Was the word I think I used at the time. Do you know anybody who's been self sufficient as a vegan, able to feed themselves off of their own land? And she just laughed. She's like, "No, you can't do that." So I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think that you would." That you would. But let me just now ask you a question. You said that in Poland people weren't eating meat after the war, right? It sounds like
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like the whole nation, the whole generation, the elder generation grew up on basically on potatoes. So my mother
yeah,
is
but that's
exactly
impossible.
75.
That's actually impossible. There are fatty acids and amino acids that you need, right? So they were eating eggs also. They were definitely eating eggs, right?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, yeah, there was dairy
So
available. Yes.
let me just say that and then I'll let you talk more. I would say that vegetarianism and veganism are very different. Vegetarianism, yeah, you could be a vegetarian and live a long and probably pretty dang healthy life with eggs, raw milk, dairy, and stuff like that. But I'd say that without those, that's starvation. They die without supplementation and
But for
whatnot.
example, yeah, I talked even today with my mom. I just wanted to make sure, so I asked her what was her typical dinner. So every day she was eating, like dinner was potatoes with carrot and parsley. This was like everyday dinner. So, and actually, this is, so the whole generation grew up, yeah, we can say it is the generation of vegetarians. Yes, they had eggs also, yes. And but what is interesting, that this old generation, they are really strong. For example, my mom, she's 75, and she's never in her life taken a day off. It's like very strange for her.
That's good.
And then she's 75, she's fine, and her husband is 84, and he's also, he can walk the mountains, it's no problem, and he also grew up on potatoes basically. And this whole generation, they are strong.
When you say he grew up on potatoes, they were eating eggs and stuff. Didn't they have chickens? How did they get it?
Yeah, also, yeah, like additionally, I mean, the whole generation didn't eat meat, yes? But look, but then
it was because they were forced by circumstance through poverty into a situation where they didn't have the availability of it, right?
Of course, of course. I know that they were not vegans. They didn't do it for animals. I know.
So there was an involuntary semi-vegetarian diet where their culture was destroyed by the war.
Yeah, country was completely destroyed, of course.
Yeah.
So yes. But then we had communism, yes, also. So even when I was a child, there was, okay, I missed the word. It's like you couldn't go to the shop and buy things with money.
Yeah.
Like assignation. I don't know what is the proper word.
Rations, right? Your food rations, where the government gives you food.
Yes, so you could get like 2 kilo of meat per month.
Yeah.
So this was when I was a child, yes?
Yeah,
so,
it's terrible.
And look, 2 kilo and approximately 200 grams of butter per month, 1 month, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And also my generation is strong. For example, I never heard of any allergy, asthma, in my class, among my mates, nobody was like, I never heard of autism.
That's great. That's great. But when autism is not from eating meat, it's not eating butter.
I don't want to say, I want to say that those elder, like even my generation or my mother's generation, we don't get sick. And the younger generation who are eating a lot of meat, they are so weak. And because actually this is not the topic I wanted to discuss with you.
Yeah, it was interesting though. It's an interesting observation, but like I think we got to consider other factors too, right? Like vaccination rates. You got to consider other things like environmental pollution, toxins in the environment, lifestyle, sitting in front of computers all day, wireless radiation. We all these other things that affect our health at every single level, right? I know. So we got someone in the chat right here. James Orman says his brother has got autism from vaccine damage in Poland. So
my son is autistic, but slightly. Yeah. Okay, but why? For example, your community is coming. Like, for example, to me, they are calling me skeleton. Yes.
You don't look like a skeleton. I'll tell you right now. I think you look. I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe you got good lighting.
Whether they use their brains, they see me, but they are taught by people like you to call vegan skeleton. So they come to me. Oh, you.
People like me. So you're gonna blame me because someone called you a skeleton. Have you ever heard me call you?
No, I don't blame you because I hardly know you. I just started watching you recently, but I already noticed that you might be.
Don't you agree that a lot of vegans do look and behave a little bit like, would you agree that many of the vegans in YouTube and the YouTube community or maybe don't act like people who you would want to invite to your home and hang out with?
Actually, yeah, I'm also quite critical about vegans, other vegans, and this is the reason why I decided to also record in English as well, not only in Polish, because actually there is one narrative which I cannot find in English. Like, first of all, I think that vegans are like represented by atheists and completely underrepresented by believers. So this is one of the things that I want to,
Yeah.
what is the word? No.
So you're saying that you don't see a lot of Christians that are vegan?
There are, but I don't know why. For example, even you repeat very often, if you come from a materialistic point of view, so I don't understand where you find those people who come from a materialistic point of view. I don't know such people. Like,
well, you don't know a lot of
and
well, you don't. Are you saying atheists? You don't know a lot of atheists?
I know atheists, and I think they, like I
Well,
said,
again,
I
I'm
think the
bigger
vegan
and
community
stronger
is,
than you, so I won't worry too much.
Sorry, that was the super chat thing. They pop up.
Okay. I know such people, but I don't know why materialistic. Because I think materialistic point of view is doesn't fit or doesn't suit. I don't know what is better.
Yeah.
The 21st century.
Okay.
Because I'm into quantum physics, a lot. So I know that there is no such a thing like material world. I think you can read about it in the Bible. So maybe Bible is representing materialistic point of view, but not the reality. If you study reality, then
It's when we get into deeper concepts, the language barrier becomes difficult. Where did you learn English? Do a lot of people speak English in Poland? You speak really well. It's hard to discuss like deeper issues with when it's your second language for sure. Like when I try to have deep theological conversation.
Actually, that's my third language because I studied Japanese, in fact. So it's my third language.
Yeah.
So,
Again, just when you said people say you come on your channel and say you look like a skeleton earlier, I would totally disagree. I think your face looks healthy. I do think just maybe the lighting's really good right now, but I think you do look pretty healthy, and I hope you're doing well. I would say that if you do,
exactly.
One thing that I would warn you.
So you're different. So you meet strange. You meet weirdos vegans, but I meet weirdos carnivores. And
yeah. Oh, for sure. No, there's spurgs all over the place who are just there are a lot of people on the internet, and all they want to do is just talk a bunch of shit, right? But that's not what I'm here to do. Like I'm here to actually talk about these things, and I would hope that that we could have a conversation and maybe even learn something from each other. Now, when you told me you mentioned your son is autistic or probably autistic earlier. Have you? It's just it really pains me, and it's I don't want to. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do with your life. You want to eat vegan? I got no problem with it. But for your son, I would say that it's very likely that you could harm his development by forcing him to be vegan. I'd say, at least giving him eggs regularly, maybe some fish, would be really wise if you want what's best for your son.
Well, he's doing really well, He's quite well. He made a lot of progress, incredible progress. It is also one of the topics in my channel. My channel is not only vegan channel. I also talk about autism because my son developed incredibly.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to share this this experience with people.
Yeah.
But actually, I also wanted to talk. Last night, I watched your video, your interview with Goji Man.
Okay.
I like that conversation, and I'm wondering why cannot we talk like in this way?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I'm always trying to do that. That's why I told you when you emailed me. Like I watched part of your video. We cracked some jokes. I was like, oh, she must be Marina Abramovich's daughter or something, and then we just moved on, right? But I was joking. I'm not trying to be a jerk to you or anything. But you only have so much time when you do these things, right? Sometimes you skip over stuff. So I'm sorry I didn't watch your whole video. But I did read your emails, and I appreciated the emails you sent, and you seemed like a genuine person who wanted to talk. And whenever a vegan comes at me like that, I always invite them on. Which is I've invited Goji Man on multiple times. He's only come on once, right? But we had a good conversation. Now, I would love to follow up with him and hear what's going on, and hopefully he's doing better. I haven't really checked in on Goji Man in a long time. I had a conversation with Vegan Foot Soldier, right? And it was a cordial conversation. Went well, right? I've had lots of conversations with vegans, ex-vegans, and we're here to build bridges. Like, we're not here just to make fun of vegans. Sure, we make fun of some vegans, but we do it selectively. I make fun of the vegans who are trying to stop me from feeding my children the diet that I feed my children, who are trying to stop me from living my way of life. I go after those ones, the activist vegans, who want to shut down our family farms, right? The activist vegans who want to force it on us. I'm upset about that, right? I mean, they're trying to enact essentially what I consider to be a holodomor, a situation like you saw in the Ukraine, where you're going to create a starvation type situation in massive portions of the population who don't know how to nourish themselves. It's admitted that it's difficult to do a vegan diet. All the vegans will admit that it's real difficult to get the right supplementation. You need things like DHA, EPA, iodine, zinc. You know, these things can be difficult to get in plant foods. And if you're not being careful, dangerous things can happen. So I'm concerned with a lot of people. I want to help people, and I want to build a bridge to the vegan community. And some of the vegans in that vegan community, I want to smash them into oblivion and get them off of off of our back, because guys like Joey Carbstrong, Earthling Ed, these activists, the whacktivists, I have a major issue with them, but I'll still have a cordial conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I think what they're doing is absolutely wrong. I got no problem with what you're doing, right? Like you're not over here telling me that I'm a murderer. You're not over here, acting like you're sitting there and you're being respectful, and we're having a conversation just like we would if we were in person. And that's what I like. And that's what I expect when people come on. I don't expect stupid games like lifting vegan logic try to play. I don't want to deal with that. And I don't deal with people like that. So when there's somebody like you who's genuine, I'm open for a conversation.
What I want to say is, I don't hear you. I don't know.
I'm not talking.
Hello?
I can still hear you.
Okay, you are not. Okay. Because we should talk about food safety more and food industry. Because you know what? I told you that there, in my country there is your copy, like your female copy, very aggressive, more aggressive than you. Nice. Let me call, I don't know, if you don't mind, I would like to call her Tristana, because I don't want to promote her
Tristana,
channel here,
okay? Cool, okay.
Okay.
But I don't think there's many Polish-speaking viewers here. If it's a Polish language channel, I don't think there will be much crossover.
Recently she's trying to do both, like Polish and English also.
Oh, so does she? You don't like her? You think she's wrong?
She's selling a lot of bullshit, very, very cheap bullshit. Like she hopes that majority of her fans are morons. So that's what she's doing. Like.
So you're saying? Wait, you're saying that she's like my copy, but what she does is she sells a bunch of bullshit. So are you saying that by proxy that what I'm doing is selling a bunch of bullshit?
Okay, okay. I mean, I hear, for example, you used many times the word projection. Yeah. So she's telling projection to everybody. Anybody would criticize her, she says, "Oh, you are projecting." So when I saw you selling projection, I know where she got it from. You know, like
that's not where she got it from. That's a common term, and
that's trying to be funny.
It's
yes?
a common thing. It's a common term, right? Projection's a common term. It's a thing that people do. It's not like she picked that up. She didn't pick that up from me. That's something that people say, and that's something that I don't say very often. I'll say it when it applies.
Okay, doesn't matter. So maybe, but she's trying also to make it like in a funny way, entertaining style. So they are making a lot of fun. They are trying to be funny and trying to make fun of vegans. Okay, but nobody is talking about food safety, because.
What do you mean safety? Like, what do you mean?
Many people, they laugh at vegans. You are so stupid. You don't eat meat, so I will eat even more meat. So I have very often comments like, "Oh, you made me go to eat even more meat. I go for hamburger now." But the quality of meat in Poland is horrible. So if I said this as vegan, so nobody would take it seriously, because so this is ideology. Yeah. But you can see the same in on TV documentary. There are so many affairs. Like there is a mold. Is mold the correct word? Please correct me.
Mold? You mean like mold, like a toxic mold?
Toxic mold.
Yeah.
So they are trying to sell toxic mold. So there are documentaries like how the meat industry in Poland is trying to mask mold in the meat, because this meat is already rotten. This is what they are selling to people. So meal, even when I was eating meat, I never touched, for example, processed meat like ham, because I could see with my naked eyes that something is wrong, that it's green. The meat is very often, it's green, it's horrible quality. So there are so many affairs like that. They slaughter sick animals who shouldn't be, like, legally they should never be slaughtered, yes, but they are slaughtered, and they are like fake vets, like science, so there is
So you're talking about the safety of the food, low quality food for the people eating it. You're saying the food there is very often unsafe
like
for
the
the
quality
consumer.
is horrible. They go to the shop, the supermarket, they get the chicken for $1, 1 kilo.
Yeah.
And they think they eat wonderful food, and me vegan, ha ha ha. They constantly come to my channel, they say, oh, like recently I got the comment, or vegetables damage not only your brains but also nervous system, So
No, yeah, I think food quality is a huge issue. We talk about food quality all the time. That's why we raise our animals the way we do, right? That's why we live the way we do. That's why we butcher our own chickens. That's why we raise our own sheep.
But okay, yes, you have above 100,000 subscribers. How many of them have this luxury of having such area like you, pastures?
They don't need to. They don't need to. Many of them do, but also they can get food from people that do like that do treat their animals that way. There are local family farms all over where you can get good quality food from. And I'm sure in Poland that there is available. I'm sure you can find good quality. Hold on. I'm sure you can find good quality meat. There are definitely farmers who are producing quality meat regardless of what country you're in. You can find meat.
Yeah, but do you know that this year, except this COVID-19, in Poland there was bird flu epidemic, swine flu, and also African swine fever. So they had to, actually about 100,000 farms were closed. They had to kill all the animals.
Yeah, but this is a lot of this is weaponized as well. They did the same thing. Fauci was involved in the same thing where they had this foot and mouth disease debacle, and they unnecessarily slaughtered thousands of farmers' animals in the UK.
Exactly,
And they're systematically destroying small family farms, Veganika.
So they are almost destroyed in Poland. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what they wanted. These same massive corporations that want to sell you Beyond Burgers, the same massive corporations that want to sell you Impossible Burgers, they want to sell you GMO corn, GMO soy-fed pigs and stuff like that.
Vegans that they've been brainwashed is actually just one of the gaslighting.
Silence Michelle Lowe. These same massive corporations, these transnational corporations, Monsanto, Bayer, Cargill, these companies want to destroy the small family farms. And this is systematically being done all over the place. I mean, in China as well, they've destroyed a lot of the pig herds. Now, is there really a swine flu issue? I don't know, but you can very easily convince people that they need to kill their animals. You could just force it on them, right? And this is a situation that's similar to what happened in the Soviet Union with the kulaks, like getting them off of their land, getting the farmers and the peasantry off of the land. In Russia, before the Soviet Union, before the revolution, most of the land was owned and operated by peasants. The peasants had a very high quality of life there, very good nutrition. And the economic situation was developing relatively well as well. But there was a huge push of propaganda. There were millions of dollars. It wasn't dollars back then, but there was a lot of big money international interest going into funding the Bolshevik Revolution. And then the Holodomor situation that wiped out so much of the fertility, so much of the farms, rather, in one of the most fertile regions in the Ukraine was completely unnecessary. Right, but it was a weapon. It was a weapon of depopulation. It was a weapon of destruction of the culture in order to consolidate power and get rid of the pesky little peasants who knew how to take care of the land. Right, so I think we're seeing this happen all over. And the reason I critique veganism and the reason why I go so hard on it is because of that. These same corporations that are pushing all this plant-based fake meat stuff and trying to legislate us away from the ability.
We don't have plant-based. We almost don't have vegan products.
You don't want that stuff. You don't want that stuff anyways. You want eggs. You want milk. That's what you should be giving your boy. If you have a child that's autistic, please give that child. For anybody listening, I'm not telling you, Veganika, because I mean you're a grown woman. I wish the best for you. I hope that God blesses your children, and I hope that they grow up to be healthy and happy. And I hope that you're healthy and happy, and I hope you continue to live healthy and happy. But if there are other people watching out there who have children with autism, please watch the episode that I did with, what is her name again? Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. That's a very important episode. We talk about the effects, and she is a doctor who's dealt with vegan and vegetarian children, people with eating disorders and whatnot as well, and she's had a lot of success in helping these people to get better. And I would suggest anybody listening, Veganika, you said your son's doing great. I'm stoked for you. I'm glad your son's doing great, but if anybody's listening, please don't feed your children vegan and vegetarian dollars, especially if you're trying to help them out with autism. There are fat-soluble vitamins that are necessary. There is a lot that you're not able to get from plant foods, and the supplementation is not getting there. You can still be deficient in B12, even though you're supplementing with the methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin and all this crap. Like, they can still be deficient. So I would say, please give your children animal foods, guys. And no judgment. Look, if you want to eat a vegan diet, it's all good. That's all good on you. But please don't force that on. Try to force that on the rest of the world. Please don't try to force that on the rest of the world, and please don't do that to children.
But okay, so but you're fighting, with us. So you want to say that Polish people, any poor people, they should rather eat like molded. Is it okay? Molded. Toxic meat.
Look, is that okay? Well, I'm not trying to. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You think the meat? There's an issue with the quality of meat there. It sounds like.
Yes.
Right? But do you guys have?
Huge issue.
Who's producing that meat? Is there not? Where is it coming from?
Yeah, from factory farming, of course. There's those huge farms.
So there are no small farms that have cows or sheep?
This meat will never enter supermarkets. So people who buy, and actually people buy in supermarkets, cheap meat in supermarkets, so they will never buy meat from family farms.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, who cares what they do? But I'm talking like for you and your son, couldn't you find some like good quality meat locally produced that is not like a steak? Like what you're talking about?
Me because I'm not going to. I want to say that, for example, I told you that the audience, for example, of that girl, that Polish, I call her Tristana, okay? They will come to me, say that I am a skeleton, I am so sick, and so on, but I see they are sick. They go back to her, oh, please help me. I have no immunology. I'm sick all the time. The same people who come to me, they go back to her, I am constantly sick. But me, I have never been sick for last 20 years.
Okay, but what about, okay, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you're not sick.
That the quality is so horrible that maybe it's better for those people to make a good mixture and adopt some vegetables and some grains or whatever.
But what are they gonna? So eating grains is gonna improve these people's health? I mean, what's?
Sorry.
You're saying, all right. It seems like you're speaking in generalities about some people that you see in comments. Am I right? Sometimes the language barrier makes it difficult. I'm not. I wasn't exactly following. It sounds like you're saying that you see people in comments and they're talking shit to you. They're saying, oh, you look skinny, you look bad, you're vegan, we don't like you. And then you see the same people talking about their health issues on other channels or something.
Yeah, they go back to her and they complain, oh, I'm losing my hair, oh, I'm constantly sick, I have no immunology. So
yeah. But you think that's from health. And you think that's because they're not vegan?
Because
I would say that
they are not well nourished. They are not well nourished. They are not open to think about what is healthy because they are so fixed to fight vegans and they must eat meat and so they will eat.
But couldn't they say that about you? Couldn't they say that? Couldn't they say that about you as well? That you are so fixated on the idea of not eating meat, so fixated on the idea of veganism that you're not able to see what they're trying to point out? I mean, they could easily make the same case, right?
Well, no, but there's another thing. Majority of my friends, also my family, because only me and my son, we are vegans. My friends, my family, they are all meat eaters. But why they don't have a need to fight for eating meat? When they want to eat meat, they just go and eat meat. They buy it. Who is fighting for eating meat? You have the right, so why?
What do you mean we have the right?
Why?
Our right to eat meat is being attacked constantly. What are you talking about? These vegans break into small family farms and steal their animals. These vegans say that they want us to die horrible, terrible deaths because we eat meat. These vegans are going and invading small family farms, stealing their animals and terrorizing the animals and the people there. There's no meat eaters that are going and terrorizing vegan farms. We don't give a fuck what vegans are doing on their farms. There are no vegan farms. Vegans don't farm. They can't farm. You can't farm veganically. It's a stupid myth. Like, you can't farm without animals. You can't grow organic food without animal input. So it's like I would say that's a false. That's not exactly the right interpretation there. These vegans want to crush our way of life. They want to abolish my way of life. They want to abolish having animals, and they want to call us murderers. I'm not calling you a murderer. I'm calling vegans who feed their children vegan diets. I say that it's child abuse. I'll say that, and I'll stand by that. I think a vegan diet, and I've seen so many children's teeth disintegrated. People who are doing it right? Even there are prominent vegans out there, or prominent ex-vegans out there now, maybe some that people don't know about yet, but there are prominent ex-vegans out there whose children have had all of their teeth affected, like the whole mouth. Now, someone was telling me recently, was asked, hey, what happened? Because our daughter had teeth issues, and she wasn't even vegan. We went a period where we were eating very little animal foods. We were never really vegan, of course, as the vegans will say, but we went through a period where we were eating very little animal foods, and our daughter, our first child, she had dental caries, right? Which is when your teeth erode, right? The baby teeth. They started dissolving and turning into powder. But as soon as we started including more things like liver, more fat, egg yolks, right? Egg yolks, liver, stuff like that, her teeth got hard, they hardened up, and it helped, it fixed it. So there are a lot of prominent vegans out there who were doing it for the animals, oh, I'm an activist, and then their kids' health fell apart, and they're like, oh my goodness, I have to change something. And then they change something, and it helps. So it's like, that's, to me, that's worth it. To me, that's worth the thousands of hate comments I get every week. To me, that's worth the DMs I get telling me I'm a piece of shit and you hope I die. To me, it's worth these faggots like, what's his face, making 9-hour live streams, crying about me, pissed off because he hates God and he doesn't believe in God, and projecting, you like that word, and projecting his spite and hatred that he has to God towards me. I'll deal with that because, to me, it's worth it. To hear people tell me, hey, my son is doing better now. After I bit the bullet and did what you told me I should do and started feeding him good animal foods, his behavior improved, his mental clarity improved, he's more verbal, there's more eye contact, he's playing with other children. When I hear things like that, when I hear things like my children's teeth are improving, when they were falling apart on a vegan diet, it makes it worth it. To me, it's worth it. So it's worth it to me. And I'm not. I know you're not out there attacking people. You're not out there attacking me. You've been really cool and really nice, and it's been really enjoyable talking to you. You know who you might want to talk to. I got a friend. He grew up in Poland, but now he doesn't live in Poland. But he has a channel called Carnivore. Have you seen his channel? Carneval. Carnival. Check out his
in this way.
Check out his channel because he's from Poland, and I think you would enjoy. Talking to him.
Okay, this is something interesting you mentioned during a conversation with Gojiman, because you said, okay, before you were paleo, keto, but why did you start? Who came up with this name, carnivore?
I didn't come up with it.
It
What is
sounds
carnivore?
so demonic, so satanic.
No. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's carne. Carne is meat. Carne is meat, right? Now, the flesh is not satanic in and of itself. I mean, this is the thing. It's like we're commanded.
But you said that you are the opposition to vegan, so it's like
I'm in opposition to the satanic vegan. I'm in opposition to the satanic vegan ideology. Absolutely, I think the vegan ideology is totally satanic.
I think.
And it's condemned by the church fathers as well. The church fathers who...
Not really. No,
Yes.
no.
Yes. Veganism is condemned by the church fathers.
1,000,000% sure if Jesus was living today, she would be vegan.
Jesus is not a female. Jesus was a man. Jesus is God. Became man. Came down from heaven, was incarnate in a human body. Became God in the flesh to deify the flesh. Jesus is not a woman.
I don't say he's a woman.
Oh, I thought you said she. I thought you said her.
She?
It's the language barrier. Sorry, I was like, wait, did she just say Jesus was a woman? Okay. No, look. Hey, on Veganika.
If he appeared today, if he was born today, I'm sure he would be vegan because his mindset was vegan.
No, Jesus is God. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God. Jesus is not a vegan man. Jesus is God. And God commanded us to eat animals after the flood. After the flood, man ate animals. Before the fall, there was no death. Man didn't eat animals. Animals didn't eat each other before the fall. But post-fall, see, this is where theology becomes really important. And this is why I think it would be really good for you to read. There's a book. Sorry. Michelle Lowe again. It's always Michelle.
I see you guys love her so much.
I love Michelle Lowe. She's fantastic. You know, I made that joke about Marina Abramovich when we watched your video the other day. You're definitely not like Marina Abramovich. Michelle, much closer to Miss Abramovich. This book, St. John of Damascus. I know you speak English really well. You can read this. St. John of Damascus, the Fathers of the Church. There's several places in there where veganism specifically is condemned. Right? These sects that would, these heretical sects that were abolishing meat consumption. And there were also a lot of these sects that were condemned by the Church Fathers were involved in not just the condemning of eating meat, but also antinatalism. It was very tied into that. And you see this, and I know you have children and you love your children, or you have at least one child and you love your child. So you're obviously not an antinatalist. You obviously believe that children are good. But what you see now with the vegan YouTube community, what's up with all these antinatalist vegans who say that humans are terrible, humans are bad, we need to get rid of the humans and let the animals flourish on the earth and give the earth back to the animals? That's demonic. Like, that's straight up demonic. Have you seen some of that?
So cruelty is not demonic for you.
What?
Cruelty is not demonic. Cruelty towards animals.
Eating animals is not cruelty.
Slaughterhouse is a holy place, yes?
No. So you think it's cruel to eat an animal? So what do you think happens? What do you think about this? You don't eat an animal. That animal ends up dying a slow death of cancer. How's that? Would you rather die a slow death of cancer or leave really quickly? Right? It's like if the vegan ideology, all these animals will die, right? Are these animals not going to die?
Yes, but
how is it cruel?
What are the conditions of their living in factory farming?
Yes? Of course we don't do that. Of course we're not
not
pro.
only about slaughter, but it's also about their conditions of living. It's horror.
Check this out. I got a super chat. Let's read some super chats.
I'm sure that God doesn't like it.
No. Well, cruelty to animals, obviously, unnecessary cruelty, but slaughter is not cruel. You know what's cruel? Getting your asshole eaten by a lion and having your guts eaten while you're still alive. You know what's cruel? Dying of a parasite infection. You know what's cruel? Malaria. You know what's cruel? Cancer. But the world is fallen, and we all experience death. All of us experience death. Humans give the least cruel death to animals. Even these slaughterhouses that you're talking about are so bad, they give those animals a quick and easy death.
Okay, what do you think about ritual slaughter?
What do you mean?
Ritual slaughter. You know, like halal and this Jewish, I don't know what's the name for this.
I'm not halal. I think that...
What do you think about this? Is it okay? Do you think
what's the problem?
Because ritual slaughter is about making sure that those animals for sure are suffering.
That's halal, right?
Because God,
okay.
likes it, has fun of his creations, agony.
Yeah.
You think that the God enjoys his creation's agony?
Look,
So,
what are you going to talk about? Some like satanic ritual abuse and tell me, oh, what do you think God thinks about this?
I'm talking about the ritual slaughter from the Bible.
Halal is not ritual slaughter. As Christians, Orthodox,
Halal is
we
not
don't
the
do
Bible,
ritual.
but halal
We don't have ritual slaughter. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, anyways,
You don't know what is
Veganika,
ritual.
we've got like 5 other callers. But first, I've got a couple. There's a couple super chats that are directed towards you, and I'd like to read them to you. There's one, Garland Farms, my buddy Garland Farms. Big shout out to Garland Farms. He's a farmer in Texas. He's a grass-fed rancher, rather. Farmer, rancher, same thing, right?
Sorry, is he the guy who came up with this crop death argument?
You called it. Hold on. Let me read the super chat. You called it, Veganika.
Yeah.
Crop death, though, as the vegans like to say. Garland Farms donates $10 through super chats. Thank you, Garland Farms. You guys check out Garland Farms channel, and if you live in Texas, or you might be able to get it from in other states as well, make sure to get some good quality grass-fed beef from him. You can get organs from him as well. Support local ranchers, local food production. This is the only way out of this. Supporting local ranchers and food production. That's the only way to fight against this degeneracy that is pushing to abolish family farms, and that has been systematically eroding the family farm for at least 60 years in the West. Garland Farm says, has she factored in the crop protection industry, shooting, poisoning, trapping, gassing, choking monkeys, deer, swans, doves, chipmunks, magpies, etc., into her calculus? So what do you think about that? Like the vegan crops, are those? What do you think about that? You're upset about ritual slaughter. What about shooting and poisoning? I mean, being poisoned to death as a bird or even as an insect. What do you think about that? Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, I also have many carnivores coming to my channel. They are, hey, what about rodents? I have rodents. Is it okay? Is it correct? Rodents?
Yeah.
That's how.
Yes, that's how you say it.
So I have at home many rodents. I have many guinea pigs which I adopted. That's what I can do. So I think I do slightly more for rodents than many other people who are coming to
I'll tell you what. I'll answer Garland Farms. I'll kill a rodent. I'll kill a rodent, no problem.
Sorry?
I said I'll kill a rodent, no problem. I have no problem killing a rat. No, I have no problem killing a chicken. I killed 2 chickens yesterday. This is not a cruel thing. Those chickens, you know what? We killed 2 chickens yesterday. We 2 roosters, right? These roosters were trying to peck each other to death. If we had just let them go off with each other, one of them would have killed the other one, and it would have died a really slow death. It would have had his eyes pecked out, and it would have had his brain eaten while it was still partly alive. That's how they do it. They peck each other's eyes out. What I did is I slaughtered them, not ritually, not in some cruel way, quick death, and it's over, right? So without human slaughter, these animals face much more horrific deaths. Like, I mean, Garland Farms talking about poisoning. I mean, a rat getting poisoned, that thing is, you ever seen a poisoned rat? It's horrible.
Yeah, I know that in nature they can also suffer horrible. Actually, I have so much compassion for all the animals also in nature, but you agree with me that in factory farming, their conditions are horrible from the first day of their life. So at least we can have some agreement that you also don't like it, don't support it.
I mean, there's certain practices that are obviously terrible that are used in agriculture. I think the industrial agriculture model is horrible. I think the worst and most cruel thing is the corn and wheat and soy monocropping. Over and over again, using all these pesticides, right? So they take ththese crops. I mean, there's thousands of heirloom corn varieties here in South America. One of the cool ones here is called choclo. It's a really sweet corn, and these corporations have bastardized these. They've gotten rid of these in many of these countries where their native crops are no longer grown, but they're growing the GMO corn, wheat, and soy. And this is a major problem, right? These countries get IMF loans with loan conditions that will impoverish these nations and make them essentially debt slaves to these transnational corporations so that they can grow their soy, their wheat, and corn in places like Brazil, in places like Argentina, and in places in Africa as well. So this to me is very cruel, and I think that a lot of vegans miss out on that. A lot of vegans miss that part of it. And I'm glad that you are concerned with the welfare of animals. That's cool, right? So that the people that are the most concerned with the welfare of animals are people like Garland Farms, or people like us who are raising their own animals and who are giving them a quick and painless death, not a death that they're going to experience from a parasite infection or from old age or from cancer, right? A slow, painful death. They get a quick death and it's over. And then they get to nourish us. And we have to nourish ourselves. We need nourishment from animal foods. Unless you're going to supplement a bunch and try to play the supplement calculus, which is very difficult, especially if you're sick already.
Okay, I want to answer your friend, and also tell you about this ritual, something interesting.
I'll give you 5 more minutes, and then you're always welcome. You're always welcome to call in. I'm not trying to cut you off. I've really enjoyed talking to you, Nika, and I appreciate you calling in. Like I said, you asked me, you told me in the email you thought I was gonna be mean to you or something because of what happened with that dork the other day, but those are rare occurrences when people come and act like spurgs. You came very respectfully, and I appreciate the chat, and I really like talking to you. So yeah, go ahead and answer, and we'll finish up.
Okay, I will tell you my stand about this. Of course, I am preaching veganism, and that's what I am going to do. But I hope that someone will listen to me. I don't expect exactly you. So therefore, I have no problem with my eating friends, because I am not expecting this particular person to change. I hope that if I share my views, maybe someone will think about it. Someone. Doesn't matter this or that person. Okay. The answer to that guy, yes. So I checked the official stats in my country, how much of land is dedicated to the crops for consumption, human consumption, and how much for animal consumption. So the difference is huge.
No, but that's bullshit. That's all bullshit. They say, those crops are grown for animal consumption.
Those are official stats.
You can't just saying this is an official stat from the government. It doesn't make it right. These are manipulated. People are saying, those crops are grown to feed animals. Listen.
By the state who is completely against veganism.
Listen.
We are run by church. Sorry, I live in church country.
Listen. When you say, most crops are grown to feed animals, the parts of the crops that the animals eat are inedible to human beings. The parts of the crops that get fed, and I'm not defending the mass production of corn to feed to these animals, but we grow organic corn to feed to animals as well. This is corn that's been grown in this region for thousands of years. But when in the industrial feedlot system, when they're feeding them corn, they're not eating the kernels of the corn. They're not eating the part of the corn that humans can eat. Corn grows in a huge stalk. It's a grass. Each stalk might weigh
We don't have corn.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, the parts, so wheat, soy, the parts of that the animals are eating are not the parts that are for human consumption. The parts that are for human consumption, the most valuable part is the oil from soy, right? The soy cake that's left over, they feed that shit to animals. It's industrial waste product. That's what they feed to the animals. It's the waste that humans can't eat.
As far as I know, because we grow grains like oats and other.
Yeah.
So, as far as I know, birds like chickens, they are fed with oats and those.
Yes, absolutely. But cattle and ruminant animals, there's a lot more that's grown. Like when you grow wheat or rye, there's a lot more material than the wheat, the actual wheat, the little seeds, they're small, right? But you have this huge grass stalk that grows up and that flowers out, right? All that material, that gets fed to ruminant animals. So it's this is how people have been farming for a long time, but the industrial model has turned it up to this huge scale. And industrial plant production is just as destructive as any other industrial food, right? So there's no it's not like meat is the only. It's not like meat is the. Meat is not the problem.
So you're suggesting that those stats are not accurate, yes?
You didn't listen to what I just said. You didn't listen to what I just said. You just twisted what I said.
That it's 100 times more area dedicated to animal crops, for animals, and very tiny area for,
This is vegan propaganda. Do you know when a cow is grazing? There's different types of land. Grazing land.
In my company,
all right, we're gonna have to go soon. We're gonna have to go.
Political power power is church. So by whom? By church? Catholic Church?
I don't know what you're saying. That's a straw man. Anyways, look.
In my country, the main political power is Catholic Church. So if there is any propaganda, if someone tries to cheat us, then it's Catholic Church.
I'm not talking about in your country. I'm talking about the stats that vegans give to say most of the crops.
I'm talking about stats from my country.
Look, I don't want to have to mute you. I don't want to have to mute you, but you're not letting me get my point across. You're not letting me get the point across. When these vegans are talking about the problem of this perceived problem, oh, you need more land to grow animals than you do to grow plants. That is a very bad argument. To grow cattle, right? When you have ruminant animals, and you're going to use those for food. Those ruminant animals use a far bigger piece of land than if you're going to grow vegetables. This is grazing land. There are different types of land. Grazing land, grassland is totally different than cropland, right? There are two different types of land, two different types of uses. You can't grow crops in grassland, right? You can't grow crops on sand dunes. You can't grow certain crops in water, right? There are different types of land that are used for different things. So when you say, oh, there's more land required to grow animal food, I don't care. Yeah, there's more land required for cows than there are for rabbits, but that doesn't mean anything. And it's this whole thing of quantifying all the land use. This is like
humanity.
Excuse me, how dare I? I know.
As a species, the most destructive.
No, we get it.
The horriblest.
We get it. You hate humans. Thank you, Michelle. So I think that's a poor vegan argument. I think a lot of vegans use it, and I think they're misunderstanding, and they don't really understand what they're really saying. So there are different types of land. Grassland is not cropland. So let's see, Nika, you got to unmute yourself. I think you got yourself muted there. But let's wrap it up. You're gonna have to wait. How do I You're muted. You see the little red thing at the bottom? There you go. So
Okay.
if you have any last points to make, and we can wrap it up. I got like 4 people who want to jump on, and we've been talking for a long time. We've got 6 people trying to get in now. I appreciate you coming on. What is your channel, and where can people find you? And if you're welcome to come on again. I'm not trying to cut you off here, but we got a bunch of other people who want to jump in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my last point, because your reaction was very good reaction when I mentioned the ritual slaughter, because your reaction was, you mean satanic ritual slaughter? Because I said that ritual slaughter means that you must make sure that the animal feels the pain fully. And this is kind of slaughter coming originally from the Bible, and we had a very big fight in Poland about it, and it's actually still on because it was already forbidden in Poland, but church fight it to retrieve it. So church said this must be done in Poland. So church fought for the right for ritual slaughter. So majority of Polish people, even Catholic, are against unnecessary.
So why do you? So you think? All right, I got a question for you about you call it the church, right? You think the Roman Catholic Church is the church.
Yes.
Why is the Roman Catholic Church supporting halal slaughter if the Roman Catholic Church is Christian? Because I'll tell you why. Because it's the false church, and I'm sorry. This is a different conversation. The real church is the Orthodox Church. There's one Holy Catholic Orthodox Church, and it's not the Roman Church. I'm sorry. I know that's a big can of worms to open, but I pray for the people of Poland that are off of this that are on this trip underneath the pedo pope, and I pray for the people of Poland, all the Roman Catholics out there. Why is your church supporting this? Pretty soon your pope is going to promote abortion. And when that happens, I hope a lot of you Roman Catholics realize what happened over 1,000 years ago and come back. So, Veganika, it's been really nice talking to you, but I got 6 people who want to get in. You are welcome to come in. You could be a regular guest. You can call in anytime when we do these call-in shows. And where can people find your channel? And you guys, be nice. Don't go be dickheads. Don't go insult people. If you want to engage in arguments, engage in arguments. If people disrespect you, you could throw some banter back, but be nice to Annika here. I'm sorry, is it Annika? Nika. Be nice to Nika here. She's got a channel called Veganika. Don't go over and insult people. Be nice. Represent. Right? Help these people out. If you want to help people get healthy, you don't do that by saying, "Oh, you look shitty." You know, that's not how you do it. So don't act like the vegans that you claim to be fighting. Don't act like them. We're not like that. We're here to have fun. We can have some laughs, and we love these vegans too. So, Nika, thank you for talking. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good night.
Good night, Nika. Hey, take care of the son. Take care of your son. Take care of your family, and we'll talk again, I guess, at some point in the future if you want to come back on.
Yeah, okay, thank you. See you.
All right, bye.
And definitely, I will make more videos about this in English also. So definitely check my channel once in a while.
Your English is great, and the accent's cool, and you speak very well, and your vocabulary is solid. And I think I encourage you to do more English content.
Yes, I will.
I also encourage you to feed your child animal foods, but we can get to that some other time. Bye. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.